ready for another lesson?
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz, and on today's episode in the news, we have the casting for our next Superman, and it may or may not surprise you. We'll get to that in the news. Trailer talk is we got the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania trailer that's due out in March, so we got our first trailer for that. News streaming this week is pretty light, but there's still things there to be seen. We'll get to what we're watching, of course, and then our main review for the episode is Black Adam. But before we get to any of that, I'm joined today, of course, by the champion, Nathaniel Gingrich.
What up, folks? I'm the champion.
He is.
Champion of what?
Jinx.
Champion of living life.
Wow. Would you say you've won?
I'm a big winner.
Yeah. I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell. I mean, well, you've got a master's degree.
That is true.
I think you're winning.
On pod, yeah. I'm white and I'm male, so that also
that certainly helps.
That's got to be 2 into the bracket already as well too.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, white male, have a podcast, have a master's degree. What else do I need?
Podcast we've done yet.
Yeah. Someone needs to just come into my apartment and just punch me in the face.
So on this episode, we're gonna acknowledge all.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyways, who else is here on the podcast with us?
We're also joined today by Eternium Tyler Verdalis.
Hi.
Made of pure Eternium.
That would make me very dense.
I don't know. It didn't look that dense. It looked very energetic,
That crown was 29 pounds, they said.
That is
true.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They made a whole thing. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Only the Rock's neck can support this crown.
I mean, I know this is about the movie, but we're going to have this debate right now. Eternium or Vibranium? Which one are you taking?
Vibranium.
I'm taking unobtainium, the Avatar mineral instead.
Okay.
Sure.
Unobtainium. Yeah.
All right. Blake, Eternium, Vibranium?
Vibranium.
Yeah. Vibranium is just cooler.
Yeah.
It's a cooler name. I feel like it's more versatile because you look at Wakanda and they've got like the energy shields made out of vibranium. So if it's a metal and it's like can power things, what does Eternium got on it?
What's on what's on Wolverine?
That's vibranium too, I think, right?
No, adamantium.
Adamantium.
Yeah,
Right.
that sounds right.
Adamantium. What's the difference that what is that better than vibranium?
Yeah, adamantium is indestructible metal where vibranium absorbs impact, if I'm not mistaken. So like vibranium, you can hit it with a punch and it'll just absorb the kinetic impact, where adamantium literally won't break, kind of thing. And
I googled adamantium versus vibranium. This is what I got.
Okay.
Adamantium is stronger for the most part and is also denser at a molecular level. All of the special things vibranium can do means nothing. Adamantium is known to be virtually indestructible, while vibranium is not. Adamantium is so strong it can't even cut itself.
But what about mithril?
Wow.
See?
What about
Mithril?
Mithril.
Whoa.
Yeah.
This is
We're talking.
Wow.
We're talking just like
See, that
ages.
has magic attached to it.
ages.
I don't know.
Not really.
Okay.
Essentially, it's so mithril is an ore,
Okay.
and essentially it has to be mixed with pure silver and pure gold from Valar for it to actually have the abilities that it has.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Do some research, Adam.
My bad. My bad. All right, fair enough. I'm still vibranium, even though adamantium's stronger. Vibranium's just a cool sounding fucking metal, right?
It is, but is Eternium better?
No.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Moving on.
And rounding out the squadron, of course, it's Big Justice BlakeHolder.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Not much, man. Not much. You said you've had a hell of a day. How was your week, though? Week overall
Whew.
going well?
Not too bad. Started off
Okay.
good. Thought I had some good news rocking for me.
You thought? Did it turn
Yeah, I
out?
was gonna say, yeah, you thought?
No. I guess we'll hash it out. Long story short, I cracked
right.
my front passenger rim
Oof.
about a month
Oh.
ago.
Oof.
So that was it. Don't really know how. So nonetheless, that was the pain. Went to the dealership to see if I can get a new one. Obviously, incredibly expensive at the dealership. Right, the guy at the dealership was a pretty cool guy though. Talked to him a handful of times. Pretty young guy like us. He's like, you know what, dude? Honestly, just see if you can find it through eBay, right, or Amazon. Buy the rim, we'll put it on. End up doing that. Found it on eBay, like literally 30% of the cost, 30% of the price of what the dealership's what the dealership markup had it as. Buy it from eBay. Long story short, that guy lives in fucking Hawaii.
Oh,
shipping
no.
something
so
from
shipping is
Hawaii.
just a fuck ton, yeah.
Yeah. So the shipping, I mean, it bumped up the price, but it was still significantly cheaper than the dealership. But the
Good.
time though to ship from Hawaii to the mainland, like it's like fucking 20 days, right?
Yeah, of course.
So that happened. So then I didn't have a car for like 20 days. Nonetheless, get the wheel. Last week, take it to the dealership. They were gonna put it on, had to get a new tire on it. Long story short, sum that up, I get my car today, right? So I'm like, all right, finally I'm gonna have a car. I haven't had a car in like a month. Get the car today. As I'm driving from the dealership to get my car to Best Buy to the store today, my driver's side flat tire thing comes
No
on.
way.
Yeah, dude.
Dude.
I almost cried driving that car, man. So yeah, that was like
That's
my
awful,
day summed
man.
up. So yeah, dude, I've just like
That's
since like
awful.
4:30 p.m. my day's just been like in a hellhole.
Jesus.
That's annoying.
I feel you,
Terrible.
man. I hate having to deal with like car shit.
Oh my god, dude, terrible. Like I think that's just bad luck. That's all it is.
Yeah, you did some bad karma or something along
Somewhere,
the way.
somebody's got a voodoo doll.
Or
of me
like,
somewhere.
or you're
Something's going
just
on.
saving it up for good shit in the next like 2 weeks too. Like they'll be like,
Yeah, I need to play some lotto tickets.
yeah,
bro.
yeah. They're like, we didn't have the rim for your car, but here's a brand new car. or
Yeah,
something.
right.
Yeah.
something, man. But yeah, so yeah, sum it up. That's how my day's been rocking, fellas. So pretty shitty, but you know, tomorrow's a new day, as I always.
You
tell
know what?
myself,
It's
so.
as you say, Blake. If you're doing something you do that you love every day, you're living the right way, man. And here we are.
Hey,
recording
man,
a
and we're
podcast,
potting
you know?
today.
And we're
And we're
potting.
potting
you know?
today.
We're
What better
potting.
day to have something go wrong than the day that
I
we're
feel
potting?
it.
Yeah. All right, listeners. Well, I hope you guys haven't had car issues recently, and never in the future. I hope your cars run forever. But we're gonna go ahead and get onto the news. That wasn't a very smooth transition. I was hoping to think of something on the fly, could not. But here we are.
We'll get you.
First news story. Superman, new casting. Is it new? No, it's not. It's old. It's an old casting, but it's a good one because Henry Cavill is back. He's reconfirmed. He's recommitted to the DCEU or whatever they're doing now. But he's staying on as Superman. No new Superman because it was cut out in the air
Yay.
after what Justice League. I guess would be his last appearance, right? So I think it
Yep.
was up in the air whether he was going to come back and keep doing it because they were kind of going in a not so great direction with their movies. But as we saw in the film, you know, somewhat spoilers, but he's back.
Yeah, how do you feel, man?
I love this actually. Like this is good news. I
He's a
think
good
he's
Superman.
fantastic as Superman. Like
For
he
sure.
fits so well.
For sure.
I've say what you want about Justice League, but like Man of Steel, he was really good in. Batman v Superman, he was really good in. Like whatever you want to say about those movies in general, but like he as Superman has always been great. And I've
He's
never felt
perfect
like he doesn't
casting.
fit.
Like
He really is.
He looks more like the Christopher Reeve Superman than just anything else. And like
Yeah.
everyone could feel it, you know? But he just needs that right role.
Yeah. He needs just some better Superman writing or story to go along with and really flex that off because I think that we've seen a best in Man of Steel probably, and since then it's kind of been so. But there are rumors that Man of Steel 2 might be in the works. Or like the I don't know if it was, I forgot where I saw this. I saw it on Twitter at some point, but the showrunner or the producers or someone wanted to do Man of Steel 2. So I would not be opposed to that at all. I would love another solo superhero, or
Well,
sorry, Superman.
The
film.
big
I don't
news
need-
today was are we going to talk about this? There's big James Gunn?
I didn't see this. What happened?
No,
Yes. So James
Did I
Gunn
miss
is
this while working?
James Gunn and I think a writing partner are the new heads of the DC TV movie universe.
I missed this entirely while looking through the news.
Yeah, give it a googs. James Gunn news maybe?
Hollywood Reporter's letting me down yet again. Yeah, I don't see it. Okay, James Gunn. You said for DC.
Yeah, so James Gunn and Peter Safran to lead film, TV, and animation division.
It is right here. Okay.
Wow.
So film
is big.
and TV?
Yeah, this is from the Hollywood Reporter. So
Yeah, I see it now.
it is, the headline is DC shocker, James Gunn, Peter Safran to lead film, TV, and animation division. And the first line is, the hierarchy of power in DC Universe really is changing. In a stunning turn of events, quote, filmmaker James Gunn and producer Peter Safran have been tapped to lead DC's film, TV, and animation efforts as co-chairs and co-CEOs of DC Studios, a newly formed division at Warner Bros. That will replace DC Films. The unprecedented move, in which a top director will assume a top executive post, marks the end of a months-long search by Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav to replace DC Films boss Walter Hamada, who departed the studio last week. Yeah, so Zaslav is the guy that's been cutting stuff left and right. He seems like a piece of shit, but James Gunn and Peter Safran, good choices. So I think, you know, the kind of reading between the lines here is that this Zaslav guy really wants to move DC and / Warner Bros. Into a space where they can build it up to the most cost-effective thing they can and then sell it on. That's at least my kind of reading on the things. So this, in my mind, is not a bad choice, but I do hope they give Gunn the freedom to kind of, you know, work on these films, because freedom is something that we'll maybe talking about later, or creative freedom, I should say, is something we might be talking about later on, and that good stuff. So yeah, a little bit of news update for you there, folks.
Definitely. I'm can't believe I missed this in the news. I don't know how I did. So it seems like they're essentially the Kevin Feige of DC right now.
Which seems to be the best idea going forward. Like, that absolutely needs to be what
without a
DC needs, you know?
Oh, without a doubt, that's what they've needed. So this is great news. Cool. Well, I'm going to put this on our docket, so if you want to look at it, it'll be in the episode description if you want to see that news story. That's awesome. So then I guess that makes me more excited for DC stuff with Cavill and now James Gunn attached. That's good news. Because it's just been so mid-tier, if I'm speaking candidly.
Oh, yeah, of course. Mid-tier at best.
Mid-tier at best, sure. All right, well, let's see here. That's it for DC news. The other news we have comes from Disney and ESPN, who have, which is good news for me especially, but I know 3 of us on the pod. They have officially inked a new long-term deal to the rights for Formula One.
Not surprising, but exciting.
Yes, meaning they have just kind of extended their contract with F1 for streaming and broadcasting the races and whatnot. But they've also reserved exclusive streaming rights to ESPN Plus.
Okay.
So like it can't be like not only is ESPN going to broadcast it, but it's not like, oh, that it's going to be broadcast on ESPN, but Peacock has F1 or something like that. It's ESPN Plus is going to retain the rights for the streaming.
Actually
which
makes
is
me
very
very
good
happy.
for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it's very good for me because you know I have the ESPN Plus through Xfinity. so I am able to access like rebroadcasts and stuff. But I know you're not able to, right, Nathaniel? Because
Correct.
you just have regular ESPN Plus.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. As a, I have Xfinity internet service, but I do not have the Xfinity cable, which is what you
Yes.
need to have to watch the F1 races right now. You need to be able to have a full ESPN broadcast. I think going with ESPN Plus is smart for Disney and all that kind of stuff, because I only see the F1 fan base growing, and I only see the internet streaming platform kind of things growing as well too. So I would not be shocked at all. I think speaking from like a personal standpoint, the UFC has illustrated or set an example as a streaming service or a streaming platform for a sport that is not in quote unquote the mainstream so far. And having F1 onto that provides a very similar kind of pathway to more mainstream success for them overall. And I mean, realistically, ESPN from a production standpoint does an absolutely incredible job in terms of like the packages and the promos and all of that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Just in terms of quality of presentation and that kind of thing. So do not be shocked if you see F1 exploding even more and more as they sign this kind of deal so far.
I think this is definitely no brainer on both ends of things, because ESPN is going to get Formula One, which we've said is expanding and getting bigger in the States. But then also on the Formula One side of things, ESPN is the #1 sports network in the country and very familiar to a lot of people. A lot of people have easy access to it, and especially ESPN Plus with that Disney bundle with Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN. Like a lot of people have access to ESPN Plus, so it's just like it makes total sense on both ends of things. Where it's not like Formula One's selling out for, like I said, NBC and Peacock because they're going to offer them a lot of money, because I just don't think it'd be as easy for some people to see it there. It just makes a lot of sense for them to just go with ESPN. It's already been going well. A lot of people are watching there already and will be in the future. So I'm very happy for this, honestly, because this is how I watch Formula One 95% of the time. So actually almost pretty much 100% of the time, I always go to ESPN.
There you go.
Yeah, so that's a dub. Gotta love Formula One.
Facts.
Did you guys know that?
I did.
Yeah, I do. I do like
I
it a lot.
concur.
I also like the new Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer. That was a little rougher. But yeah, we are done with the news. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, our first trailer, our first look at that, because Marvel can't seem to stay out of the show on a weekly basis. It's going to be every week till we die. So this is I misspoke at the top of the show. Not March, February 17th. Is the release date for this. This will be the next. I believe this is the next Marvel movie we'll see in theaters, right? I don't think there's one in between now.
No, we have Wakanda Forever.
Ah, motherfuck. Yep. Yep, we do. I said that and I was like, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's way too big of a gap. There's something missing. God forbid we have a 6-month break for Marvel. No, they coming for your money.
And then I think I saw the speaking of James Gunn, I'm pretty sure the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special trailer dropped today, which I did not watch yet, but just
I did not watch that either.
For everyone out there as well too.
But
it's another one of those quote unquote special presentations, just like Werewolf by Night was. So I think they're kind of building that a little bit more as kind of like the Marvel answer to something separate and on the streaming service, but not necessarily as connected with everything else, and doesn't necessarily need to be a show or a movie, which is cool. I'm excited for more of that stuff if they're going to insist on Marvel being involved in the streaming platform kind of thing.
Yeah. But the trailer, how are we feeling?
But the trailer, Jonathan Majors, really good, very good actor.
Is that the direct? Oh, actor.
He's the one that plays Kang the Conqueror. I was
like, Jonathan Majors. We just talked about him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm actually really excited for this. Especially like you said with Jonathan Majors, because we saw Kang and Loki, but we haven't seen him since.
Yep.
And it's kind of been stated, or it's kind of soft confirmed that like he's going to be the next big villain, because under Thanos, like he's one of the other big villains in the Marvel comics.
Yeah, and I will say that Film Twitter has been very much on board with Jonathan Majors as a villain. Apparently, his acting range is very, very good, as well as his overall kind of charisma and stuff. So, Film Twitter is on board with Jonathan Majors in a big bad role, feeling that he could do a very, very good job overall, as we may see in Creed 3. As he plays a villain in that as well too.
That's where we saw him, or that's where we talked about him last week. I'm trying to see what he's been in on his IMDb. The Last Black Man in San Francisco, I've heard of.
Lovecraft Country or County, I should say.
Lovecraft Baby. Oh, and Lovecraft Country. Okay. Yeah, that's about it before he got to Loki. So.
And he may be British.
Much. That I don't know.
He strikes me as a British man to me. He just feels British in my mind, but I could be wrong.
Born in California.
Ah, well, there we go. He's not British, folks.
Maybe he was born in the States and then moved to Britain.
No. He's an American boy.
Okay.
I'm an American boy.
I was singing the same thing in my head. Do you know that song, Adam?
No.
I figured. That's just another one of the things that'll show your age.
Well,
yeah.
Kanye is canceled this week, I think, too, by the way, isn't he?
Yeah, true.
Kanye's very canceled this week.
All my homies hate Kanye.
Yeah, fuck Kanye.
I took him out of all my playlists.
Oh, man. It's, yeah, let's not talk about that. Let's just say that that's one of those ones that that all of us kind of saw coming, but just kind of, was hoping might turn around. But, yeah. Ooh, separating art from the artist.
Tough.
Hard to do
this task, for sure.
Anyway, Ant-Man.
Yeah, anyway, Quantumania.
Anyway, the trailer. Do we think this is going to be the best Ant-Man solo film yet? You had two.
I don't know. I quite like the first one. Yeah.
I agree. First one's not bad.
I haven't seen the first one in such a long time. I remember when it came out, it was like, oh, this is like good. It's just not like amazing.
Yeah, I think
the second one.
Well, it was originally supposed to be directed by Edgar Wright, as we know from
Last Night in Soho.
Yep, and Shaun of the Dead, and absolutely Last Night in Soho, Baby Driver, all that good stuff. And it was originally supposed to be directed by him. He had a really bad relationship with Ike Perlmutter, which was the old white man at Disney who kind of just decided that A, female superheroes were not popular, and B, just fuck the X-Men, make the Inhumans of the X-Men. And he's kind of an idiot, so they got rid of him, and Kevin Feige took over. And now, it's just more the other direction. But the consequence was Edgar Wright did not make Ant-Man, and Peyton Reed instead did. And I still think that first Ant-Man is kind of underrated. I think it's a good entry, especially in the Marvel canon, like overall, especially now. The second one I also don't mind either. He's always kind of been the black sheep, I feel like, of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And they play into that too, which I love.
Oh, 100%. But I do think it's good that they are using that character as the basis for the next big bad. And I hope this goes well. I'm excited for where this goes. And I like of the Marvel Phase 1 or Phase 2, Phase 3, whatever heroes that are moving forward, this seems to be the one that kind of ties neatly enough together with the kind of like plot line through line of the Infinity Stones and everything, where like his story wasn't really finished with that Infinity Stones endgame stuff. You knew he had more stuff to kind of explore and infiltrate further. So I think this is maybe our strongest connection that we've had so far with what has come previous to that, whereas like a lot of the Phase 4 and 5 or Phase 4 has been like introduction of new characters and that kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm on board for this. Actually, like this is besides like the Wakanda Forever trailer. This has been this is like my favorite Marvel trailer I've seen before the film in a while. Just some good one-liners. I mean, who doesn't love Paul Rudd?
True.
Like he's just every time he's on screen in these movies, like he brings such a good presence, and his character's written really well and really consistently. And I like it a lot. So I'm definitely down for this. Actually, this will be a good, nice little Marvel. Maybe it'll be like a cleanse or a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
With Wakanda Forever and Black Panther, and then
I think with so much change that's come to the Marvel universe, there's a good chance that this kind of does feel like that kind of quote unquote palate cleanser reset film, you know?
Yeah, because this this Ant-Man and the Wasp is supposed to be the first film of Phase 5, which is kind of been their soft. It seems, at least from this trailer, especially, that it's going to be their like kind of start of their I don't know what the saga is called. I forgot what it's called. Kang saga. I don't.
Yeah, whatever. Kang Dynasty, something like that. But yeah, this is
Boo Saga. I said Boo Saga.
Boo Saga
from Dragon Ball.
Z.
Yeah.
In
anime / manga, things are broken down into sagas rather than like chapters or anything like that, or arcs. I guess you could call them as well too. So it'd be like the Boo arc or the I don't know, the
Cell Saga, Frieza Saga.
Yeah, Kaido arc in One Piece or something like that as well too. Big Mom something.
Gotcha.
But yes, this is the Kang saga. Get it in there.
Cool. Any other big thoughts here on the trailer? Or are we gonna move on?
Excited for Kang. He's he's a biggie in the Marvel universe, and I'm pretty sure his in-universe name is Nathaniel. So another one of my boys out there.
You are the champion.
My name. Yeah. Out of all of the Nathaniels, I am the number one in the multiverse. So I am the humble brag master's degree, Nathaniel. All others fear before me.
Not so humble this episode, usually.
Adam, you can have Nathaniel as your champion. I will definitely take Blake as mine.
Respectable.
His name was the champion. He wasn't my champion. He wasn't mine.
Well, I'm just if we're teaming up here.
Blake, if we're going,
if we're putting pod members in a dogfight, you're picking Blake.
100%. 100%.
Blake, my challenge to you is we're gonna do batting practice. So
yeah. Oh yeah, no, I'm screwed on that. It'd have to be slow pitch softball. I'd still fail.
It's a trial of feats. This is?
Route running, Blake has me 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do football and baseball. We'll make it work.
God, I'll throw in tennis.
What about like kicking? Do you think like if you and I like had like if we had like a 30-foot field goal kick, do you think we'd be on the? Ooh. Do you think we'd be on the evens? I mean, obviously, you actually have seen it done before and like played football, so you're gonna have an advantage.
But I mean, I've never played soccer. I've like kicked jokingly.
Sure.
Right. It's anybody who's played football before, but yeah, that shit's hard, man.
It is
like
hard.
Kicking field goals is difficult. Yeah.
I'd be like,
I wouldn't feel confident lining up to kick a 30-yard field goal by any means.
I'd feel terrified.
Very, very small amount of confidence in myself.
Yeah, like I just don't think I'd get the approach right. Like I'd like set up like I'd go up and like take the steps to kick with my left leg when I'm actually right-legged or something like that, you know, like something stupid. But there you go. Yeah. Tyler, how do you think you do kicking?
I feel like I'd be okay. I played soccer for a long time. I was part of one of my like secondary jobs on the football team was long snapping, so I had to spend a lot of time with punters and kickers and stuff like that. So
I weirdly feel like you'd be okay. I like out of all of us,
I'd be all right. Yeah, 25, 30, anything above 30 though, I think you're pushing it.
I weirdly feel like you'd definitely be the best. But maybe Adam's got a secret, you know, just cannon, Legatron.
If he hits it with a tennis racket.
There you go. All right, so Adam, I'll throw you the ball because I can throw. And then you just have to hit it with the tennis racket / baseball swing through the goalpost.
I feel like I could get it further with the baseball bat.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
All right, so here's what we'll do.
Do you think you could do that? I'm sorry, go ahead, Ty.
I'll long snap it to Nathaniel.
All right.
Nathaniel will throw it to Blake. Blake will catch it, set it up, and then we'll find like maybe it's on like a T-ball, and Adam is just gonna fucking whale it.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
With a baseball bat or a tennis racket?
Yeah, with a baseball bat.
All right.
Baseball bat. Yeah. I can get it through.
I don't think the defense will be prepared for that.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's a trick play that is in few playbooks. It's in few playbooks, but we'll get it down.
We gotta have like fifth member of the pod, Justin, run out with the tee and just like set it up.
And then we have Ryan Foley at the goalpost to ready confirm if it's a good or not.
Yeah. Foley on one side, Waz on the other as refs.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Anyways,
ask you guys, how difficult do you think it is to like hit a baseball through like, do you think you could do that, Nathaniel or Adam? Not straight on. Straight on's probably a little easier, but like, what if you were like on the hash, right?
On the
You, like, had
hash,
to, like,
is it a tee, or is it someone throwing it to me?
Yeah, is it like off a tee, or is it someone's throwing it to me, tossing it to me?
what's off a tee's got to be easier, right?
Yeah, it is.
Probably
Yeah.
the easiest. I could definitely do it off
Like-
the tee.
do it off the tee.
Actually, I can like guarantee you I could. It depends on the yardage.
First
I'm
hit?
obviously not.
You think you're
Not
knocking it through first hit?
Maybe not
Okay.
first hit. I'd have to get a few warm up swings, but if you gave me like say 10 tries, I'd get at least one, if not.
Okay.
I think I could do it in 5, and I give it a 50-50 shot that I hit it off the tee at like a 30-yard half mark. If it's a baseball on a tee and hitting it through the goalposts.
Yeah.
Oh, are you talking about baseball or football?
I was saying like a baseball on a tee. and you're at the 30-yard line or whatever.
We're hitting footballs off of tees. I don't know why I was thinking football. If you're just asking me to hit a baseball through the field goal, yeah, I think I could definitely do that. And if you give me 10 tries, I could probably get it on at least 5.
Okay.
I would. I grew up with the batting cage in my backyard doing tee work 4 days a week during the season and like playing travel baseball. So like
Yeah.
tee work is. I feel like that muscle memory would come back pretty quick.
Fair.
Yeah, I remember we had a drill in college where we would stand 60 feet from a deal on a wall that had the strike zone kind of set up on there. And like I could hit a strike zone or any of those 1 in 9 spots pretty easily on there. Like if it's a dunk tank, I got this. Team, don't worry. Give me three balls in a 30-foot line or whatever, I can hit the guy in the dunk tank, no problem. But off a tee with a baseball, I'd say, yeah, I could do it. I'd say one-on-one, I got a 50-50 shot. Out of 5, I might get 2.
Okay. Fair enough.
Off a 30-foot hash, yeah. Or a 30-yard hash,
Yeah.
sorry.
I think I could get it.
Anyways, let's talk movies. We've definitely faffed about so
Adam
long.
Schwartz's completely subjective new to streaming list for the week of October 23 to the 29th. That's Shiloh, my roommate's dog. He's very excited to hear what's coming.
You mean Noah 4?
Noah 6. Yep.
Noah 6.
Whatever number. Noah 6. If you don't know what the list is, it's there's a lot of things that come to streaming services every week. This is my curated list of things that might be worth checking out. Keyword on might. I haven't seen many of the things, actually a majority of the things that get on this list, but either they seem interesting or I think they would be something you would be interested in. Netflix. This is something Nathaniel's interested in, and probably Ty. Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities, Season 1.
I'm in.
Del Toro brings a new anthology horror series to Netflix, 2 new episodes daily through October 28th.
Get it.
So like probably 8 or 10 episodes total. I don't know.
I will say Guillermo del Toro still probably my favorite definition of a ghost ever in movies. That's from The Devil's Backbone. If you have not seen it, check it out. It's a great movie.
This dog will not shut up. I swear to God, I don't know. I don't know what happens in this apartment on Tuesday nights, but it's never this loud. And then the second I sit down to record, people are coming over. The dog's going crazy. My roommates are, all in the living room talking and being loud. I don't know what it is. They just know when I'm recording or don't know when I'm recording, and just the universe cursing me.
Listeners, if you hear the dog on there, it's a ghost dog.
I actually had to take my headphones off for a second because my window's kind of open and people walk their dogs, and I'm like, is that fucking me?
No, it's unfortunately me.
And then I actually thought, I forgot your roommate got a dog, and I immediately thought it was Waz's dog.
No, Ellie's not here yet.
Yeah, and Ellie doesn't, or what? Ellie barked that one time I came in the door.
Ellie's a very
she's pretty quiet.
She's a very chill dog overall in terms of barking. Not a big barker. But anyways, this new to streaming list.
Netflix is also getting Nick Kroll, Little Big Boy. This is actually the comedy special I went and saw him do in film in DC. So I don't remember when this came to Netflix because it wasn't on the list, but I saw that it was on the list. It came out a couple weeks ago, I think. But yeah, the special that I got to see filmed is now on Netflix. I haven't watched yet. I don't think there's a very low chance that I'm in any shots of the crowd or anything, just because I sat right behind the crane that was doing like all the pan shots of the stage and whatnot. So it's like they're not really going to show the crane in the crowd shots, so I probably am not in any of it. But it was a good special, and I kind of want to go watch and see like how the special on film compared to how it is live, because like I've seen specials of comedians where like either they are about to film their special or they just did film their special and they're still doing that material, and then I go and watch that special. But this is the first taping I've been to, so I've never seen the actual taping of the special, then watch the special and like see how they compare. So I'm going to check this out, see how I like it compared to how it was live, because it's always better live, but still want to compare it, see how it is. That's it for Netflix. Amazon Prime isn't getting anything. Hulu is getting The French Dispatch if you are a Wes Anderson fan. HBO Max isn't getting anything. Disney Plus is getting Andor Episode 8 and Star Wars Tales of the Jedi. This is 6 brand new animated shorts featuring parables built around Jedi from the prequel era. Journey into the lives of 2 distinctly different Jedi, Ashoka Tano and Count Dooku. Each will be put to the test as they make choices that will define their destinies. This series is created by executive producer Dave Filoni, with Carrie Beck and Athena Portillo serving as executive producers. Ty, you excited? Or Star Wars?
Yeah, I think I'm more excited for the Star Wars stuff than the Marvel stuff at this point.
Yeah, I
mean, like, Wakanda Forever seems like it's going to be hopefully a bit of an uplift for me. I have very high praises for the first one, and this has got potentially some stuff that I thoroughly enjoy and stuff that I know about from comics and stuff like that. But yeah, Star Wars is always going to be just like super feel good.
Yeah,
that's like
have
DNA.
you been watching Andor?
Yeah, I've gotten around to the first 4 episodes, I think. It's one of those things where I can just not like even come close to convince Leah to watch. So it's one of those things I have to find time for myself, because I'm obviously not going to like put her through it like when we're eating dinner and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and like at night, like I literally game, like that's like what I do. And so it's hard to sometimes find time for myself for shows. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I definitely want to finish it. It's been really good so far.
Cool. Do you want to continue with your new streaming list?
You mean what I've been watching?
What we're watching. Wow.
Yeah, mine's not very big at all. I did get around to some more Special Victims Unit per usual.
Solid.
Yeah, I got around to a lot of YouTube stuff this week. We had people over on Sunday for some football, so that was fun. And then we also had Formula One going because it was the Austin race, and that was a really good time. Definitely not as many people as we initially thought. And then it was funny because I obviously invited Blake and Nathaniel, and you are invited. You're just never here. But Nathaniel got here at like noon, which is like when everything started, because football starts at noon, and then Blake had to work. So Blake was like, I'll hit you up after work. If people are still there, we'll like come out. And I was like, yeah, for sure. And then like probably by like 5, everyone was gone, and Nathaniel hung out just because he was going to see Black Adam at 7. So he was like, I'm not gonna go home. So I'm like, that's cool, you can hang out, bro. So we just kind of hung out, and then so yeah, the Grand Prix was great. I called it like halfway through the race. So like they were going through pit changes and stuff like that, and Foley's wife, Lauren, was actually fairly interested in the sport. She was like asking a lot of questions. So I was having a good time explaining certain things about the sport to her as well, because that's always fun when people, are genuinely interested in something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was good. And either way, I called it and I was like, Max is still going to win this race. And sure enough, I was
You
like,
had faith. You had faith, despite the kerfuffle and the pit wall?
100%.
Yeah, so did I.
So
Hard to
he's
bet
just
against that, man.
it just dominant. Like there's
Yeah.
just no stopping him this year. So
Yeah, he's without a doubt. He just tied the record, or is he got one more to win before he gets 13?
I'm pretty sure he tied it.
Yeah, and then I remember them saying in the broadcast, it's like, yeah, even he's like, we just do more races now, so it's not the same. 13 is not the same as it was before, but
Yeah.
it's still a cool thing to have, especially if it gets to 14 or 15. I feel like this could eventually be looked back on as like, they have the Super Bowl era of, football and whatnot. This would be kind of an era where they have new stat lines and new records for that kind of thing. And like, he'd still have the record at 14 regardless. And who knows, maybe he could just win every race from here on out, which is very
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. I mean, barring the only thing that could stop him is like some DNFs. But if he's going to finish a race the rest of the season, I would be hard pressed to find him anywhere outside of first place.
Yeah, it's just been ridiculous.
Yeah,
I was yelling. I was like, "Give it to Hamilton. Just let him have it,
please." Somebody.
Would that be wild for him not to win a race this season? Would that be like the first time in his career?
Probably the first time since. Yeah, I mean, I would guess probably first time since Ricky.
Oh, for a while, yeah.
So, and then you brought up Nick Kroll. I like Nick Kroll. I've known him since like the league and some of his earlier stuff and some of his animated stuff, because he's very known for his voices.
Of course.
So I will definitely get around to that. But while we're in the comedian range, while I was kind of perusing on YouTube, I found somebody who's not like a huge comedian, but I always seem to like see his content and I actually really like it. So he had a full special on YouTube for free, and that was Stavros Halikas. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him.
I have heard his name. Isn't he from the Cumtown podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's funny. He's got a full special on YouTube now, so I will definitely recommend that you go watch that, because he's a funny dude, and he does a lot of crowd work, which is really fun, and it shows like how improvising he can be.
Crowd work is like a true test to a comedian's skill, because like to be able to just kind of riff on the spot.
Yep.
Is kind of just shows like your skill as a comedian, whereas
you're
like,
just genuinely funny.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas like a lot of people can just rehearse a bit, and like some people aren't funny while doing that, but like, to do crowd work and to do it well, and like where people are just laughing, or if you're, especially the people you're roasting, like that takes a lot of skill, and like that's how extremely funny you can be.
So, but other than that, that's all I got.
Cool.
So, Nathaniel, what you been watching?
Oh, you want to talk about what I've been watching?
I mean, I want you to talk about it. I'm just going to listen with the rest of us.
Okay, fair enough. Well, to be honest with you, I did not get to too much of a heck of a lot last week. I did watch the F1 race with you in person together, which was the first time I think maybe ever for us. I don't know. I think it was. Tyler, if you're talking, you're muted. But anyways, so I did go over to Tyler's to watch the F1 race on Sunday. And
sure did.
It was a really good time. Watched a little bit of football too. That was fun. Watched my first full episode of Law and Order SVU, actually. So the first time,
that's surprising.
Yeah, it was one of those shows I think came on when my parents used to watch it as like a kid, but I had to go to bed like before it came out, kind of thing. And it was like one of those things where like I remembered watching like the first 4 or 5 minutes of like an episode once, and it's like, they always open with like a cold open of like someone being murdered behind a dumpster or something that. Yeah. And I was just like, oh shit, people are dying. This is the scariest thing I've ever seen. Like, and just ran upstairs and heard my parents watching TV while the screams from the TV echoed upstairs or something like that. But yeah, I never really did much of that. Enjoyed SVU. Good show. Can see why people like it.
And that was an early episode. That's a season 1 episode.
It is true. Yeah. Other things I got to. So, as we know, boys, I am always on the lookout for more content, more things to watch. The newest thing of my own obsession, and I have to say, this week I finally entered a realm which I have not entered before, but is something that may enter a pretty standard rotation for me in the future, at least for the foreseeable future, and that is the podcast / Twitch stream / YouTube channel Critical Role, which I'm sure people have heard about on this podcast before, or just in general. Listeners to this podcast probably have heard of it. It is a D&D group of folks that are a collective of voice actors. So weirdly, I've heard a lot of these people before in random things, whether that's video games, animated series, that kind of thing. Anyways, they get together, they do a D&D campaign. I've never watched D&D before. I've never played D&D before. I've never had anything to do with D&D before. But I was just watching it on Twitch the other day, and there was a rerun going, and I thought, this is kind of interesting. And so I started their season 3 campaign, which I guess the campaigns take 150 episodes and they do one a week. So that can be 2 years or something like that. And yeah, it's fascinating. Fascinating how people make a story and how they kind of all come together. And when it's done well is fairly compelling. And yeah, it's
wild.
Yeah, it's been interesting to go into so far. I know, Tyler, you have a little bit of experience with that kind of stuff. Just through your own growing up in that kind of thing, but it's interesting to watch and kind of listen to as well too. I don't know, Tyler, if you want to comment any more on that or anything like that.
Yeah, I love D&D, man. I played that stuff through high school.
Of course.
And growing up as a kid, and obviously it progressed into
Right, yeah.
Me and a couple of boys, and even Justin was part of the group at some point. And we're seasoned at that point. And
You're right.
So yeah, we've had some. We had stuff that carried on for probably about not quite a year. I'd probably say most of our stuff lasted anywhere from 4 to 6, sometimes even 8 months.
Which is still, yeah, that's impressive in and of itself.
It's like a live game, which is cool.
Yeah, it was really interesting to watch, and like I said, quite calming to watch. I feel like in some ways as well too.
Sure.
It's just it was a good time. So I'll probably check in with that every now and then and stuff, and see where that takes me. But I always like to find new and interesting things for me and stuff like that. So
that's cool. Yeah,
that was definitely one of them. And then the last thing I got to this week, which I think will perk up Blake's attention here a little bit, was the movie Barbarian has actually hit HBO Max as of today. And
wow, that's quick.
I know, and I got a chance to see it today, and it is a recommend overall. Overall, from me, fun movie. Very strange. Very. You leave that movie not expecting to be who you're aligned with at the end of it, and yeah. Really interesting companion piece to a lot of movies that we've watched this year, whether that's Men or some of the other horror movies that we saw, something like X or yeah, that as well. 2.5 Men as well too. But even just in the horror movie season this year, I'm very intrigued. What something along the lines of The Empty Man as well too, in terms of how it spends quite a lot of time with a certain set of characters at the start, and then very kind of abruptly changes that overall and everything. But yeah, just a fun movie, and big recommend overall. So that's all I got to this week. Kind of a little bit of a shorter list for me, but yeah, I'll kick it on over to Blake.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for starters, glad you got to Barbarian, and yeah, that's one I went into incredibly blind at the theater. Um, no, I wouldn't say low expectations, but just didn't know what I signed up for, and then it's a hell of a ride, right? So definitely glad Nathaniel got a chance to see that. And anybody else who has HBO Max at this point, I think this is definitely a film that you should touch for the holiday season, for the Halloween season, I guess.
I was gonna say
Um,
how.
yeah, I mean, hey, Halloween's a holiday though, right? So I
I know,
mean,
yeah, I know what you meant now, but
yeah,
my mind immediately went to Christmas and
Christmas, yeah.
Thanksgiving and whatnot.
I mean, yeah, Barbarian that'd be a nuts Christmas film for sure. But yeah, nonetheless, that's cool. I didn't get to too much on my end. Pretty busy week. One thing I did get to though is I got to Hellraiser 2022.
Oh,
This
okay.
will be the
no,
third one.
yeah, so that's one by David Bruckner, and I don't know if I'm as low as Nathaniel and Tyler are on it. Um, and I guess maybe that's just because I rewatched the original maybe 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
But I mean, it's weird. I think as a Hellraiser film, I think it's relatively okay. I think the problem that I have with it is, and I don't want to speak for Nathaniel and Tyler, but maybe it's the problem that they have too, is that it doesn't seem like a David Bruckner film, right? And I think that's like the hard leap for me to follow. It just seemed like, I don't want to say anybody could have made this Hellraiser movie, but like the cool things that like make David Bruckner's horror films like quote unquote stand out are like some of the cinematography, the things he does with camera
Right.
angles, right? Things he does with like shadow work and stuff like that. And like you don't really get any of that in this. It's like
Yeah, more big budget, more kind of like studio control kind of thing. Like you feel like
for sure.
Yeah. I can buy that definitely. I'm with you there.
I think that was kind of my big takeaway, because I didn't go in with like gigantic expectations, but I was like, oh, David Bruckner, like I kind of want to see what he's doing here. You know what I mean? Then I was like, oh, I mean, I felt like
I think that makes sense. Out of I think out of all of us, you've seen more of his stuff overall, so you would have a better understanding of his own kind of sense of style and everything. And if that is an example of, not where he is, then that makes me happier, because that movie just kind of bummed me out overall.
Yeah, because it's not terrible, but I mean, I'm kind of with you though, as far as like watching The Night House. The Night House is awesome. I think you've seen The Ritual, Nathaniel.
Yeah, Ritual's great.
The Ritual's awesome too, right? And like just very cool in terms of like the cinematography and like how you don't really see the monster and kind of things to that nature, even like the character development.
Yep.
And that it's just really good. Where this is like, it's unfortunately it's like the cliche, like somebody's a drug addict or suffering from like a drinking addiction, you know what I mean?
And that's where I was saying, like, it's just the plot of 2013 Evil Dead,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too. I was like, this is Evil Dead.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's unfortunate that they took that route and like not like, I don't know.
The one from the original,
like
which is so interesting. Like Ryan Hollinger just had a whole video about how interesting the plot from the first one is and stuff, and it's true. It's very, very fascinating. But
that's completely out the window on this one.
I've talked about it enough. You talk about it more. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. You can jump in whenever, even Ty. But yeah, so like that's kind of the problem I had with it. But yeah, overall, I mean, I wouldn't say it's terrible, but yeah, definitely. I'd watch a handful of other David Bruckner films on that, and it's just unfortunate that they kind of took that path of, like I said, kind of the recovering drug addiction, or I think it might have been alcohol. But like, it just makes the main character, like, you don't really root for the main character, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
The Cenobites are awesome though.
They're like great.
Them, but but they like, I don't know. I like the take they did in 2022 Hellraiser with like, they're almost like genderless or sexless. I guess I don't know what
that's definitely true.
Correct term.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like that was cool. I did like that. You know what I mean? Because that's probably how something like that would be portrayed.
Of course,
like,
yeah. Could be
mythical.
Either or. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I did like that, but they looked like, I don't know, like the way they looked in that compared to the original, like they don't look as I don't know, maybe they don't look like as human or like touchable. They look like they're plastic, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Are you guys following me on that? Like in the original, like it was a person, and I guess maybe that was just like the practical effects back then and stuff, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just deep diving. But yeah, nonetheless, It was okay. I'd probably never watch it again, and I certainly wouldn't watch it above any other David Bruckner films.
But
So-
over like Hellraiser sequels, I would probably watch that. But yeah, it's just
Yeah,
it's
I
one of
think
those
I
things-
think I want to try to rewatch the second one.
Ooh.
I think I'm gonna try to get to that this week. But yeah, I'm with you because I mean, there's got to be 9 or 10 of these movies, and I don't know if Adam's seen any of these, but like I know they fall off a cliff after like the third one, where it's just like
I've never
kinda, like,
seen-
pushing these things out.
I've never seen any sequels. I mean, I think it's one of those ones for me is like the first one's like a classic kind of thing, and then just after
For
that,
sure.
just kind of definitely. I will say though, like one thing I remember is I remember being in like 4th or 5th grade and going to like a theater in like probably Halloween time, and Clive Barker was like on one of the like commercials, and he was like, I remember being a kid and like having nightmares, and then one day I decided that the nightmares were like fun and not scary, and that like broke my brain as a kid. And like then I was like, wait, nightmares can be fun? And like after that I was like, oh, I love horror movies, I love all of this, like it's just fun kind of thing. So I credit Clive Barker with breaking through my fear of scary movies in general. So thank you, creator of Hellraiser. Anyways,
So yeah, he did good. I think it'll be a big enough hit for like the mass, like the horror masses. To your point, where it just seems very commercial horror.
sure.
So I think this may be enough to get people to be like, hey, I actually do like that.
I hope
Hellraiser
so.
series.
I was hoping
Yeah.
for like a reception on the level of Prey. That was my ideal like way of
Yeah.
this going, but I just don't think it's quite to that level. And
I
think
don't
Prey's
even
the
think
better
it's
movie.
close.
Yeah.
In my opinion, with that to your point. So yeah, that's all I got. Adam, what'd you get to?
Only a few things. I have watched some Succession. Haven't finished season
Ooh.
1.
Still on season 1.
Still have like I think I have episode 10 to watch. I think I watched episode 9, just 10. But we're getting there. I'm gonna keep going. Still liking that. About 2 weeks ago on the podcast, I think I came on here and said how much I love the time jumps in House of the Dragon, and after episode 10, I can confirm I was right. Time jumps are the way to go. They are doing this season very well, and it all
I'm
makes
not
sense.
sure if I remember that being your overall feelings on this.
I think you're misremembering. I think that's word for word what I said.
I think you said the time jumps were kind of bullshit, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I don't know if I said bullshit, but yeah, I wasn't thrilled on the time jumps before, but I have fully come around with this episode 9 and 10 here. Especially just watching episode 10 last night, I was like, okay, I'm like fully in. Like the episode 10 last night was great. Do we want to? Are you guys caught up?
I finished it today. Yeah.
I am not.
Okay, we'll wait till Ty is to kind of do a deep dive maybe on the full season, or maybe we do a bit of sizzle for 30 minutes pre-pod or something next week. But yeah, season 1 episode 10 was awesome, and it kind of just I don't know if I spoke too soon on the time jump thing, just because it was the middle of the season and that's how I was feeling. But as a whole, I get what they were doing now. I think it was appropriate. I like where they're at, and so I pretty much take back the whole time jump opinion that I had a couple weeks ago. I'm coming around on this season. I do like what they're doing, and I'm very excited for more. Honestly, the kind of edge that they left us at with this finale has got me intrigued, to say the least. And I'm kind of already sad that it's over, because I would just love to keep going. So
Yeah, I'm excited to finish for sure.
yeah, I think this episode was probably the best of the season, in my opinion. Just a lot of important, cool, and well done shit happens. Minus one scene that was probably the most graphic thing we've seen all season, and you know what I'm talking about, Nathaniel?
I'm trying to think. Give me a hint.
Oh, get as close to spoiling as you can without spoiling it.
I don't know how to.
I'll just take my headphones off. Just let me.
Well, also any listeners too, but the whole, we'll call it childbirth scene.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That I was like, I had to look away from the screen. I
Mm.
was like, this is making me a little uncomfortable. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, it
They're
was.
showing all of this in such detail.
Yeah, it was definitely a
It was a
locked
choice.
on camera. Yeah, that camera
It was a
not
choice.
was not moving away for anything. Yeah, okay.
No.
I guess I didn't. I definitely like registered that as like weird, but like there's a
Yeah.
part of me that just like I don't know. There's a part of me that just kind of goes like it's Game of Thrones and just like shuts off that emotional part
Yeah,
of my brain of
for
like this is
sure.
fucked and like I should like this is maybe something that's traumatizing to me. But anytime I'm going into any sort of Game of Thrones thing, I'm just like, well, this is a thing that could happen at any given moment.
Yeah. No,
it fell
it's
under
all
that.
very valid.
But
yeah, it does kind of fall under that.
I'm with
but-
you. I'm with you.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot to say the least. So yeah, that was but yes, the season was great. Can't wait for more. Makes me want to go back and rewatch Game of Thrones, but I just don't have time. There's
Weirdo.
so many other things to watch. Maybe I'll just go back and watch a few episodes that I like. But anyway, other thing I watched. Dog. Australian Grand Prix, as we already talked about, great race.
American.
America. We do it right. That's all I'm saying. And then I watched a documentary called Actress, which is
Okay.
one can't imagine many people have seen because I don't know where you might be able to watch it. It's actually my my documentary professor. It's his movie from like 2014. You can rent it. It looks like on Apple TV, and Vudu and Amazon, all that, if you're interested. But it's his. I don't know how many movies he made before this, but this is one that he made in 2014. This is the first movie I've seen of his, and the movie started off, and I was like, this is interesting, kind of boring, and I don't really know what this is about, what he's doing. But then like, as it kind of revealed what he's doing and what he's doing with the camera and how he's kind of telling the story of this actress's life. It's an actress. Let me look up her name because you guys might recognize her from The Wire. She acted in The Wire.
Ooh.
Stoop?
Brandy
Okay.
Burr.
Brandy Burr.
Yeah.
Mm,
Let me see if I can look up who she played in The Wire.
Yeah, if you
guys.
let me know, I feel like I could tell you.
She
I'm gonna IMDb her as
played
well. I'm guessing Burr.
Teresa, Burre. Teresa D'Agostino.
Oh, she's the yes, I know who that
episodes.
is. Yes, she's the one that the Thomas Carcetti is like interested in. She's the other lawyer. That's like
yeah.
That's like helping him with his campaign and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I got you.
So this is her kind of during a time in her life where a lot of shit's going down, but she decides also at the same time to return to acting because after The Wire she stopped.
Oh, really?
And now it's like 8 years later, and so she decides to return to acting. But it was really, really good actually. And I plan on going into my professor's office hours because there are quite a few things that I kind of like just want to talk about with them because I don't think it's rare that I'll have an opportunity to like talk to someone who's got a documentary on Netflix, that kind of thing, and
Absolutely,
like just
yeah.
kind of get their thought process and stuff. And I'm sure he'd be very open to me coming in. So I would love to report back on that and see how that conversation goes. But yeah, it was called The Actress. He does a lot of cool things with the camera. And his editing is really good. And as I'm looking at my courses for next spring, I'm very excited because he has a post-production class. So like what happens after
Ooh.
everything's filmed and
Yeah.
how do you edit, color grade, mix audio, that kind of thing. It's kind of putting it all together. But his editing is really, really good. And that's something he talks about in this class. And so I'm very excited to take his post-production class next semester as long as I can get into it.
Well, tell him he's got 2 fans on this podcast of Brandy Burr, and we'd love to get his opinion.
But yeah, the film's called Actress. If you want to check it out, it's like an hour and 20 minutes or something like that. It's very good.
That's so
I enjoyed
funny.
it
I
quite a
can't
bit.
believe she was on The Wire too.
Yeah. So that's about it on my what we're watching. And of course, last night I went and saw Black Adam. Welcome, listeners, to the main review segment of the podcast.
Here we
where
are
go
again.
ahead and rank All right, we're gonna go ahead and do our main review. Nathaniel, if the listener here is new, or maybe they've just forgotten, can you give them a rundown of how the review segment works?
What up, folks? If you are new, or maybe you've just forgotten, the way the review segment works here on Back Row Banter is it is split into two sections. There's the non-spoiler section, and then there's the spoiler section. It's pretty self-explanatory. In the non-spoiler section, we'll go over the movie's IMDb plot summary, who's in it, who acted in it, who wrote it, who directed it, all that good stuff. We'll go around the squadron. We'll have to recommend it, yes or no. There is no nuance on the internet. And then it will be spoiler time. I'll play the spoiler noise so you know not to be spoiled for you. And then we'll go into any deep plot twists or big reveals for the rest of the movie and give our deeper thoughts on the movie itself. And go on from there. But even if you don't want to have it spoiled for you, do come back for the rest of the episode, which will be in the show notes for you. And we were going to rank it up upon our Entropy list, which is our big list of everything we've watched on the podcast ranked so far. So with that, Adam, tell me about Black Adam.
I would love to. This is a new film released in the year of our Lord 2022, rated PG-13 and a runtime of 2 hours and 4 minutes with an IMDb rating of 7.1 out of 10. Let me repeat that. 7.1 out of 10. Directed by Jean-Colette Serra. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
I believe so. I think you're on it.
Okay, cool. He directed Jungle Cruise.
Yes.
With The Rock as well. And a few other things before that. A 2005 rendition of House of Wax.
The Paris Hilton edition of House of Wax.
Is that what that is? I just saw House of Wax.
I was going to say, I think Blake would know as well, too. I remember that movie. He also directed The Shallows, which, if I'm not mistaken, is actually pretty good.
That's that shark film, right?
Yeah, with Blake Lively.
Yeah. That's actually not too bad.
Yeah.
Sharks are dope.
And they kill you. Written by Adam Stitzkill. I'm going to go with Stitzkill. Rory Haynes and Sarab Nushrvana. And it is based on characters created by Bill Parker and C.C. Beck. The cast includes Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Aldous Hodge, Pierce Brosnan, Noah Centineo. I knew I recognized that guy. I was like, why does he look so familiar? That's Noah Centineo. Sarah Sahi and Quintessa Swindell. Should I keep going? Oh yeah, Marwan Kenzari, I think is where I might stop. No, this is a long ass cast. Holy crap. I'll stop at Badi Sabangui. Oh my god.
I think that's Bodhi to start with.
Bodhi, Sabangui, and Mohammed Amir.
Yeah,
I'm going to stop there. There's other people, but there's a lot of people in this movie. Holy crap, I didn't realize it until I got to this cast list. And the IMDb summary reads as follows. Nearly 5,000 years after he was bestowed with the almighty powers of the Egyptian gods and imprisoned just as quickly, Black Adam is freed from his earthly tomb, ready to unleash his unique form of justice on the modern world. Were they Egyptian gods?
Was he trapped in a bodily tomb?
Earthly tomb.
Earthly tomb, that's what I meant. Yeah, earthly.
Maybe, no, I don't think so. And I don't know if they were necessarily Egyptian.
They're Kandakian.
Yeah. So besides like the fact checking part of that, pretty good summary. Like if he just had his facts down right.
Sure.
Pretty good summary. Yeah. So Black Adam, dude from whatever year A or BC, like we said, 5,000 years ago. It's a long time. It's like Mesopotamia.
So long. So long
ago. It's
very,
very long time ago. He was a leader of a slave revolt of sorts, was bestowed powers from the same gods that we see in Shazam. They're not Egyptian, but they are gods. And basically gets Shazam-like powers, but he seems to be stronger than that. Way stronger than the Shazam character. So, but then he defeats the kind of king, but then is also lost for centuries and thousands, millennia.
5,000?
What is millennia?
5,000 years?
What is a 5,000 years?
Millennia is 1,000.
1,000.
Okay, so 5 millennia. He's gone. He comes back. And yeah, as they say, ready to unleash his unique form of justice. He's an anti-hero.
Whoa.
Which is always fun.
We can't. Anti-hero seems. That's aggressive.
Is that a blanket term? Is that
No, that's too much gray, man. We only live in a world of black and white.
we do?
Not true.
The black and white of Justice League, Snyder cut. That black and white.
Whoa.
Justice Society.
I think that whole film's
confused.
point is, and this is backed up by its cinematography. Maybe that movie's whole point is that justice is gray. Whoa. Thank you for everyone clapping in the audience for that there. I really appreciate it. Anyways, go ahead and continue with your Black Adam review, folks. After we got through that huge point of the podcast.
Non-summary part here. Who wants to kick this raving review off?
In case it isn't clear, I don't want to talk about this movie. This movie sucks.
This movie's bad.
I'll start it. I guess I'm kind of glad that Nathaniel and Adam just kind of went on with their thoughts on this, or at least brief thoughts. This movie sucks. I agree. I didn't even want to watch this movie.
No, I didn't
actually hate
either.
that I have to talk about this for the next 25 minutes. Yeah, I can't. I don't think I could recommend this. I mean, I guess if you just are really into superhero movies, it's like the only thing I can logically say. You know what I mean? Where like that might be enough to get you to go.
Or
to
The
theater,
Rock. Like if you
I guess,
if you're obsessive over The Rock, yeah, go see this. But other than that,
yeah, good point. Yeah, but if you wanted to see like a quality film, I don't know how you want to watch this film by any means. So yeah,
Right.
that's my quick spiel. I'm a no recommend or not recommend. Adam,
Yeah, I'm also not recommend. This movie is pretty mediocre at best, and hot garbage at its worst. And I just did not really enjoy my time. From the second the movie started, I was like, "Oh God, we're doing this again!" Like, it's just the most like
soulless.
mediocre, soulless, like run-of-the-mill superhero film. Like, I feel like an AI wrote this film.
Yep.
You know?
Kevin.
that's funny as hell.
No, Kevin would have been better. This is
Yeah, Kevin probably would have been better.
this is Walter or Zaslav or whoever the fuck makes this shit.
Yeah, it's just if you ask an AI to write a superhero film, this is
This
what
is what they give
do.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you told an AI to write it and you only gave it scripts pre 2008, this is what it would make. Like
Yeah, that too.
All right, I'm going to talk about this. I didn't like this movie, folks. This movie made me sad. Like it genuinely broke me in some ways. Like I it's the most soulless, heartless, just fucking piece of shit. Like I felt like this movie is there to make a bottom line. I said earlier that I think Zavlas is just making movies so that Warner Bros can be sold on to some other company, and I feel like that's pretty accurate with this movie. Like it's made by committee. You could swap out any of the plot points for any other Marvel movie over the last 10 to 15 years. Just call Kondak Wakanda, just call, Black Adam Thor, and just call, the kid, I don't know, the kid from Iron Man 3 or whatever. Like the fucking kid's riding a skateboard and listening to Bullet with the Butterfly Wings. Like that has not been a fucking trope since 1998, maybe. And I'm sorry, but we're not in 98 anymore. This movie is dog shit. I talked last week about the Halloween Ends being the most tortured script I've ever come across. This movie's the most underwritten script I think I've ever come across, in that no character exists beyond a page of background information about them. And it fucking sucks. So
Whoa. There is 10 minutes of plot dump in the beginning, Nathaniel.
Yeah, sorry.
Guys, we're not even in spoilers yet, are we?
No.
That's the best part. That's the best part about
No,
this.
we're not.
Non-spoiler.
I don't recommend this movie. Only watch it if you, I don't know, go to sleep with the Rock body pillow or something like that, and wear his workout shoes or something. But
Gun to your head.
yeah, gun to your head, gun to your balls. Maybe go see this. But other than that, it's dog shit. Don't.
Yeah, Tyler, DC fanboy of the pod.
Yeah, not a fan. I really wanted this to be good, and it just wasn't. And I'll say one thing that I liked about it, and then I'll go into all the other things I don't like about it later. But the only thing that I thought was somewhat redeemable up until most of the end was costume design.
Yeah. I'll say that's good.
That's it. That's all I got.
And
so
even
it's
that,
a not recommend for me.
Even that, I read IMDb that Pierce Brosnan was motion capturing his whole suit the entire time. So that's not even good costume design either. Not even physical.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But that was all mocap.
At least his body was. Yeah. That's why this movie cost.
Come on, don't start abbreviating things yet, okay?
$1 million. $200 million.
Was that the budget of this thing?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yep. You give me. I'm gonna guess 50 of that was for The Rock. I'm gonna guess the under 100 of that was for maybe, I don't know, location shots. Who knows? And the other,
you mean the one street corner that they filmed on, and fucking the one intersection.
The other 50 million was the fact of that shot in the trailer where he bashes an airplane that doesn't appear in the movie. You know what I'm talking about, where he's like, the hierarchy of the DC universe has changed forever, and he shoulder bashes a plane that's flying next to him. Doesn't appear in the movie. At no point does he shoulder bash a plane.
For better, for
yeah,
worse.
this movie sucks for sure.
So I'm a not recommend.
For better, for worse, definitely for the worse. I'm gonna say not recommend. Go see any other movie. Go see Barbarian. You know what? Sit at home, rent Barbarian on HBO Max, and not pay a fucking dime for it, and just enjoy that actually good movie.
Adam, what'd you think?
So I am just barely not a recommend. If a few things here, a few things there, could have gone the other way. Yeah, I'm a not recommend. This is just not an enjoyable time in any way.
Even to the point
this
that
movie's bad. This movie's bad when like The Rock is jacked, right?
Is he?
And he spends a lot of time getting jacked. But this movie de-jacked The Rock for some reason, and I felt like personally attacked.
The Rock is so big that at times when he's in this movie, it looks like he's a normal sized man inside of a suit of a muscly man. You know what I mean? His traps are so big they look like the normal shoulders of a human, of a normal human. You know?
Yeah. He's
obscenely large.
Yeah, which is awesome to see, honestly, because he said in like press and stuff for this movie that he wanted to get bigger than Black Adam is in the comics. Like he wanted to get abnormally large.
Just didn't extend to his hair, huh?
What'd you say?
I said it didn't extend to his hair.
No, it's not.
Black Adam in the comics.
Accomplished for that. This is the biggest I've seen that man. How old is he now? That was something that went into my head. Yeah,
102.
5,000 to 6,000 years. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
He was born in 1972.
Okay, so that puts him at
what's that? 40,
50 this year. 50 this year.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for him. Looking great.
He's on the good drugs. Oh, sorry. What?
He's all fucking natural, bro.
Yeah.
He's not shooting up Eternium in any means.
Or unobtainium.
All right, well let's go into spoilers then. I guess if
Let's get the
everybody's
spoilers going.
Not recommend. Yeah, go around the squadron.
We're
Not
all
recommend.
not recommend.
All right.
But that's the first one I feel like we've had in a while.
Oh, I'm so excited to just rip through this dog shit movie. I'm excited. I'm happy
if you're
for
as
us.
excited as Nathaniel to see where it ranks upon the entropy list, you can check the episode description if you haven't seen the movie and skip over spoilers. I left a timestamp you can jump to where you've been taken to the ranking of the movie up upon the entropy list. Spoilers.
A little late there, folks. Sorry.
All
Shit
good.
goes
Shit
down.
For eternity, for 5,000 years.
5,000 years. So okay, let's talk about this movie.
Let's break this down. Let's break this down.
Let's get into this. Let's talk about it. Kondak, right? Wakanda,
Yeah.
as we know it in the Marvel's
Kondak.
cinematic universe. Even's got their own little their little symbol. It's not Wakanda
Right.
forever, but they've got the Illuminati, Hova.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
Jehovah, Rock Nation.
Yeah, Rock Nation Diamond. It's just so boring.
Yeah, it's not good.
And the most interesting thing they have to say about it is that an occupied nation does justify having a hero who will kill, which is an interesting thought. An occupied
It is.
nation having a hero that supports them, is representative of them, and will stand up beyond what a quote-unquote normal hero will do, or exists outside of it to stand up for that nation and its interests, and to say, I'm a line in the sand. I will not go past this point, but if you fuck with me, I'm going to take you out. That's a very interesting place to take this movie, and an interesting idea to follow up and what that means for the rest of the universe. But they don't have a fucking universe to set that in to give you any sort of context for it, because it's a DC movie, and that's all shoved to the side for the charisma drain that is The Rock in this movie somehow, and the most annoying child I've ever seen, and a mom that says her son should just go fuck off for the first 30 minutes of the movie. Like, it's the most...
And then you spend the last 2 hours or last hour and a half of the movie trying to get him back.
Yeah, it's the most brain dead, just fucking paint by numbers, like asking you to suspend your disbelief for just having your superhero action figures bash up against each other on screen for 30 minutes. Excuse of a film that I've seen since the Justice League, and somehow this movie is better than that. And that somehow makes me angrier about the whole fucking thing, to be honest with you. And it's like, hey, DC, could you get your head out of your fucking ass for a minute and just make a movie that makes sense? I have
that
feelings.
would make sense.
No, yeah, that would make too much sense.
I'm going to
just-
stop talking for a minute. I'm going to let you guys talk. I feel emotional.
Yeah, I mean, it's so bland, like you're saying. I mean, in a market that's already oversaturated with superhero films, like it's
Right.
like crazy that they put something out that's not unique in any sense. So like it's
Zero
like
sense.
yeah, so it's like destined to fail in terms of like what's the rewatchability of this? Like what brings you back to this opposed to just turning on? I don't know, to opposed to turning on fucking even Doctor Strange. Right, in the multiverse of madness, like
Sure.
what brings you back to click this opposed to clicking anything Marvel's put out? The Rock, I don't know. I feel like he just plays himself in every movie. I guess that sounds really bad to say out loud, but I mean,
No, you're right.
great guy, you know what I mean? But he just plays himself in every movie, and it was okay, whatever. Even like kind of, there's just nothing. I already didn't want to see this, so I already kind of went in like with bias, I would say, but then like 30 minutes in, it just like confirmed the bias. Like, yeah, this movie fucking sucks, and it's exactly what I thought it'd be, to be honest with you. So it's not really a surprise that it came out like this. It's what I thought.
Does this movie do a single unique thing? Like,
No.
is there anything
No.
in this film that I can't find in a different Marvel or even DC film? Like,
Absolutely not.
like there's like down to the freaking supporting cast of superheroes they have. Okay, Falcon. Okay, Doctor Strange. Okay, Ant-Man. Okay, Cyclone. I mean, I don't know what the Cyclone equivalent is, but give me a second, I can find it. Like Storm. Yeah, there you go. Like, it just.
For a $200 million,
DC even has another superhero with a lightning bolt on his chest that says Shazam. Now that's not DCU's fault because that's how the comics are written. I understand that, but like,
I don't mind that. I think it's very interesting that we have like a hero chosen under the old gods and a hero chosen under the quote unquote new gods and that kind of thing. I wish they tied more into Shazam. Like, I think it's weird that this movie kind of sidelined Shazam, which is overall, in my opinion, one of the better DC movies in overall. And I think the Shazam director could have done a better job with this movie in terms of like the horror elements and everything that goes into that. The moments later on where it needs to veer into those kind of like 80s Ghostbusters. What's the other word the other example I'm thinking of? Gremlins, Goonies, something that's, borderline horror comedy, that kind of area. I think the guy that did Shazam did an excellent job of that as well too. But this movie just kind of ignores Shazam while simultaneously aping all of the kind of quote unquote good things from it and not doing it as well. Not doing it as good as that movie did,
Yeah, I agree 100%. It just sucks because this movie has so much, or had so much potential to kind of really do its own thing, and been talked about for so long that they had a lot of time to work on this. And yeah, it was a disappointment. I went in with relatively higher hopes, hoping that it would be good because I just really wanted it to be, because anytime there's a genre that you care about, in this case, the superhero stuff, it's always nice to get, something that's different, something that's good, something that's like well written. The plot points are awesome. Like Batman. Batman was fucking sick.
Sure.
I agree.
And it seems like that's the only character that they can like nail down.
And the one that's not connected to anything else.
What was that?
I said, and the one that's not connected to anything else in this current setup.
And like now this even puts a further wedge in between everything, because now the way that this is and the way that this was kind of done, I don't think you can tie this into Shazam. I think if you tie this into Shazam now, it makes Shazam look worse. And I already don't want to see the second one. Because of that, and because the trailer was right before it, and I was just like, yeah, you know what? I don't want to fucking watch that now. But it was just all fucking terrible. The kid was basically like, if you're gonna tie this into Shazam in any way, just let The Rock give the kid his powers,
right? Like,
and like let him be the fucking hero.
All right, so that's one thing that I talked about a lot. Did anyone, while watching this movie, not pick that the Rock's character was actually the quote unquote the dad in the background scenes? Like, did you believe that it was always the kid that was actually Black Adam, or his son that was actually Black Adam? Like, no part of me in watching this was like, oh, the Rock in the past was a child first. Like, every part of me was like, this is a grown-ass man playing a grown-ass man who has these powers, of thing.
Yeah, 100%.
In comparison to the Shazam, where Zachary Levi is so good at capturing what that is to be a 12-year-old in a
human's body,
in a 30-year-old
body,
30-year-old superhero's body,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like, it was just it was frustrating all the way around,
because they drive that into the plot, and then it's just not a payoff.
Yeah, at all. And they do that like consistently through the movie. The Atom Smasher and Cyclone like add zero value. Zero.
Yeah, they're one of the most underdeveloped characters I've ever come across.
I will say I do want to shout out the actress who plays Cyclone. Quintessa Swindell. Like,
Yeah.
she for me was a highlight of this film.
I will say, I'll point out they use they them pronouns just for us moving forward. So
they were a highlight of this film, without a doubt for me. So
interesting cinematography, interesting kind of like element that they brought to the quote unquote superhero genre and how they kind of filmed that and produced that. I thought that was really cool. Not enough to save the rest of this. Felt separate. In my opinion.
Like Hawkman.
I thought so too. I thought Hawkman was a really good in
looked
character.
Awesome.
Yeah, Waz did not like the costume. I thought it was pretty decent. I thought it was all designed well, and I thought he felt a good sense of gravitas to the role and everything. I thought he and Pierce Brosnan had a really nice relationship. I would have loved to see more of that.
Awesome.
Yeah, would have loved to see more of it. I
love Dr. Fate, and like they actually did him okay, but there was just nothing else for him to play off of, and it was such a shame because he was like my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Blake, how much you hate this thing?
I just don't like it. But I already didn't want to see it. So like I went in with like I hope this is bad. You know what I mean? And then I started watching and I was like, wow, this is literally exactly what I thought this was gonna be. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's just like I said, it's just unfortunate. There's literally nothing new, or like there's no new ideas. We always get on this platform and try to praise people for like new ideas and like their own thoughts and things of that nature. And like we literally get none of that. But then also to their defense, it's kind of like the superhero market is so oversaturated right now where that's almost a tough task to get off. Right?
You're not wrong.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword in that regard. But then it's like, I mean, fuck, like I don't even know why we released this film, or I don't even know why this film is released in terms of like, what does this do in the bigger picture for the DCEU?
Nothing,
right?
but like at least release it in fucking like 2010 when you fucking announced The Rock as fucking Black Adam.
I think they said 14 years.
This makes fucking sense.
14 years this movie's been in development. Like that's
garbage.
Obscene. And yeah, to Blake's point, like release it, make it feel tied in with the rest of it, you know. It should not be this hard for DC. It really shouldn't at this point, you know. They constantly prove again and again that they just don't know what they're doing. They don't want to grow. They don't want to feel like they want to change anything about it. It's always this kind of corporate idea of what a quote-unquote superhero movie will be. Hopefully with James Gunn and this other guy coming in, they'll have more of a kind of maybe one vision or something. But, man, this is rough for something that's supposed to be a soft reorganizing of the structure of the DCEU and, like, reintroducing Superman into the universe, that kind of thing. I don't know if anyone else is in here listening with me, folks, but give me 1 second.
We're here.
Okay.
Fuck this movie, dude. I said we just fucking rank it. And I had once I finished watching it, I had an idea on where I want to rank this, and I'm curious on what you guys are thinking. But yeah, this is. It might get ugly.
One other time.
I gotta point out some of the other things I just didn't like. Were like, you can't use a fucking door. It's fucking stupid. I actually like the fact that, you know, he just didn't really give a shit about like killing people. It's just one of those things that, you know, like with the boys, it's realistic. It's bound to happen. As somebody with superheroes, but again, it's unfortunately not original. And he at least did like those parts well, though. You know, from a somewhat of a redeeming point for The Rock's acting, because he's been good in other things. This was just not good though, and I fucking hate the villain. It looked like shit. I looked like I was fucking watching Aladdin. I'd rather watch fucking Aladdin. It was fucking just god awful terrible. How the fuck this thing is at a 7.1 on IMDb is fucking
That's
beyond me.
rough.
Is it really?
So
Is that
that's why I had to repeat it
7.1, bro?
3 times at the beginning of the show. 7.1.
All right.
Thanks.
I don't even know what to say to that.
You want to rewatch it now, don't you?
No, I want to completely. What did IMDb completely fuck me out of on the rating the other week? Was it Alien? It was like Alien.
I think so.
There's so many tiebreakers. We'd have to go back and be like, you know what? Fuck the IMDb ratings. What's the better movie? That's like how I feel right now.
That's why I've been
It's
offering
atrocious.
the override tiebreak or like
We may have to switch to Letterboxd ranking system. Like I'm now anti IMDb off this being
most of their
7.1.
stuff.
I am crushed.
I feel like most of their stuff is pretty on par with where we're at. This is just one of those ones that's like so egregious. It's like, do I trust them now? This is like that one time. Like it just
this
fuck
is
up
the first
everything.
time I do feel
is
truly,
horrible.
truly burned. I do want to pose a question that I heard from a gentleman walking out of the theater. He goes, it wasn't great, but I liked it more than Halloween Ends. Do we?
Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't. Yeah, I definitely don't.
I can't agree with that.
I
can't
audibly
agree.
laughed.
That's so funny.
I don't know if I was close enough.
Did anybody say after? Were there any after credit?
The
cuts?
Superman one?
I
Uh,
walked out.
Stay, bro.
I didn't even. Yeah, as soon as like I didn't even wait
Oh,
for the
you guys
lights to
really
come
didn't?
on. No.
Oh, that was the best part of the movie. Was the after credit scene?
Yeah, after credits was him
by
meeting
far the
Superman.
highlight.
Yeah.
Was him what?
Meeting Superman. And
I mean,
it was
yeah,
Henry
I'm gonna
Cavill
yeah,
again.
we're in spoilers.
Oh, okay.
So it's he has like a Zoom call with what's her face?
Waller,
from
Amanda Waller.
Suicide Squad, Amanda Waller. And she's like, "Hey, just you're fine if you stay in Kendak or Wakanda or whatever the hell it was called. But you better stay there. It's your prison. You step out of there, I'm gonna find someone to kill you." And he's like, "No one can kill me. No one on this earth, no one on this planet can kill me." She goes, "I'll call in our friends from other planets." He goes, "You do that. Send them all." And then he destroys the little drone that was the Zoom camera. And then as he destroys it, emerges from the shadows Henry Cavill Superman. And he goes, "I think we better have a talk or something."
Perfect. Yeah, it was great. Great cameo.
It was awesome. It was really cool.
But-
I'm not kidding when I said it was the best part of the movie.
It is absolutely dog shit for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, even like the combat was just so fucking bad, man, and like the cutscenes, and
I will say, I do like the effect. I really like
the Zoom effect.
Well, I really like that like thunderclap, he's there effect that like they've used in Shazam and that kind of thing too. I do really hope they bring that along too, because I think that's a cool, unique effect. Did not like the Quicksilver effect with the paint it black.
That was
Rolling Stones cover.
Fucking slow mo.
Yeah, like that was rough. It was definitely like there was a couple times in the movie it was like, well, we can do this effect shot and that will save us 30 seconds. So why don't we go ahead and put that in, and that'll give us another 30 seconds of screen time so we can get this thing up to 2 hours.
Yeah, that's another thing, and I don't know if somebody pointed that out. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention. Yeah, I don't know why the fuck this movie is 2 hours long. Like this movie could easily be pieced up at like in $1.35.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's
Hour.
I think that that breaks down to like rock star power, and they're just assuming people will just be along for his like charisma ride. But
Right.
yeah. No thanks, Dad.
Yeah. The most disappointing part for me is just like what Nathaniel touched on earlier, where like they had kind of like the groundworks for like a really cool, interesting story about like a superhero who's there to defend his homeland from, foreign nationalists or, people exploiting the land or whatever. And it's just like they took the most basic take and safe take they could on that. And it was just like vanilla ass writing when it came to like what that means. And they didn't really delve deep into it much. It was just kind of very surface level. And that was they had an opportunity to do something kind of unique, and they just kind of didn't at all. In fact, they made the most cliche thing I've ever seen.
Let's rank it.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back, listeners who skipped over the spoiler segment of the podcast. We're going to go ahead and rank Black Adam up upon the Entropy list.
Up
For
upon.
those of you who do not know, the Entropy list is Back Row Banter's official list of every movie we have reviewed, regardless of genre, regardless of anything else, all on one fantastic list. This is essentially how we rate our movies rather than do it out of 5 stars, out of 10, whatever it is. We throw up all the movies we review on a list and see how they compare to one another. If you'd like to reference the Entropy list for yourself, you can do so by checking the episode description where it is linked to my Letterboxd.
All right, so we had Halloween Ends at 94 last week, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of high up there. Now that I'm looking at this,
I mean,
Higher-
I don't know if I would say
Yeah.
higher up there.
higher
but
than I
it's not
thought.
high.
Yeah,
yeah.
higher
A
than.
few debatable films below it, I would
Yeah.
say.
All right, so is this better than Halloween Ends? I would say no.
No way.
Is this better
No.
than Halloween Kills?
Yes.
In that it
Yeah,
makes
that's what I'm
sense.
like,
No, actually, no. Sorry, no.
In that it makes sense,
No.
maybe a little. I don't know. Is it as non-functional as Jurassic World Dominion?
No.
Oof. You think Jurassic World Dominion is worse?
No.
Yeah, that movie was pretty bad. It's close. It's close.
It's worse than Snyder Cut.
All right, so yeah, here we go. So Snyder Cut's at 111 and Wonder Woman 84 is below it at 112.
I agree with Adam's statement. It's definitely worse than Snyder. So I don't think you can
and
put
it's
it
worse
above.
than 84. You know, it's much
I-
worse than 84.
Yeah, I would agree. I would also say that I think it's worse than Project Power.
Yeah, I'm down there.
Which
there.
is
I'm
a
looking
superhero
Snake Eyes,
movie,
G.I.
yeah.
George and
I mean, yeah. To be
Strange.
honest, that's where I was looking at too.
I'm gonna give it the 121. I don't think it's as bad as
No
American
way.
Pickle. Yeah, but it's
No.
So you're picking Justice League over this?
yeah. I think I'd rather watch Justice League.
Yeah.
It's a hard pick.
Justice League is bad.
Yeah, I think
21.
I'm gonna put this at 119, right above Snake Eyes. I would
I think
rather.
Snake Eyes is better.
Man, that movie.
Guys, this hasn't happened for a long time.
Yeah, this movie made me
But
visibly upset. I think.
I'm putting this at 122.
Oh, you're going straight down.
Wow, you're going bottom.
I think this is the worst movie we've watched on the podcast. I actually, looking at this, like I would rather go and watch American Pickle again. I would.
Yeah, I
would.
mean,
that's just
It would
just
at
where I'm
least make me question on whether or not I should give it a second watch.
looking back at American Pickle, I think there are better things in that movie than this one.
I almost can't even remember the plot of American Pickle.
I can.
That's how forgettable that movie was. But I
Yeah.
do think this is gonna fall in that same bucket. But I think that's because it's in an oversaturated market, if that makes sense.
no, I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, it's between Snake Eyes and Justice League for me in terms of where I'm putting this thing. I mean, I think I'd rather watch Justice League, but Snake Eyes is really bad. There's just a few shots in that. I remember specifically one where they're on some type of video call on a phone, and it's the worst shot I've ever seen in a film.
Oh man,
Yeah,
you want to
I
talk
remember
about this movie? I mean, there's some shots where they're in the past where I'm like, oh my god, I can see the black line around this dude where they've composited him into this shot. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck, man?
I'm just
Yeah.
saying every single movie in this range from 115 to 121, I would rather watch each one of those movies, including The Purge, including High Tension, including
I was gonna say
Snake
High
Eyes,
Tension's the
including
one for
fucking-
you.
I don't like High Tension, but I respect it enough
Yeah,
to know that this is much worse.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is another one of those movies where it's making a very good point for people to start arguing if movies are just for laundering money.
Yeah, 100%.
There's no $200 million.
Jesus
Where did it
Christ.
go? And you have this many issues?
The Rock. All of it went to The Rock and Henry Cavill. Because
Yeah,
everyone else on this show is hasn't been a movie actor for 10, 15 years or is from the CW.
So 50 million to The Rock, 50 million to Henry, and then 100 million for the movie.
Yeah, that's what
I get really goes.
Yeah.
All right, I think I'm gonna settle. I think I'm gonna go 121. I would put this below Justice League.
I've got this at 119, below The Purge, above Snake Eyes.
All right, so 119.
Like for all its faults, it is a functional movie at some point. The Rock is at least watchable in this, and like I would watch. I would say this makes more sense than Snake Eyes, but man, they're the same dreck. And I'm not putting this above High Tension.
Oh no, that's what I was gonna say. I'm glad we at least didn't go there. I was gonna be very if we would have put this above High Tension.
Blake's ready to throw hands.
Yeah, I think I'll amend it. I'll go 120. I'll put it above Justice League. That's my final answer.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do 120 as well, because fuck Ezra Miller.
I agree. That's why I wanted to change my stance as well.
You know what? Fair enough.
Fine, 120. I don't want to get canceled. All right, are we all 120? Are we all cool there?
I'm 119, but yeah, 120 is fine.
120, it doesn't matter. Your average is canceled.
You don't matter. Your vote doesn't fucking matter.
All right,
You're
well,
privileged out of here.
I'll see you guys never.
Oh my god, this movie's
Get
bad.
your privilege out of here.
What's Snake Eyes on IMDb?
I'll bet it's lower than this. It's got to be lower than this.
6'1".
Snake Eyes
5-1 or
Origins.
5-4.
What?
5-4. I was a whole point off, and this is a 7.1.
Yeah,
Get the fuck out of here.
That makes it sound even more crazy that they gave this a 7.
No, this movie had actual wide shots. So
What's American Pickle?
probably a 7.4 or a 6.9.
No, gotta be. I say 5'9".
6.9.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm just
No, it's 5'7". It's 5'7".
all right.
Oh, okay.
5'7".
All right, 120 it is.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's get out of here. I'm tired of talking about this thing.
All right, Nathaniel, do we have any fives? Or no, our next topic. Do you guys want to do Spirited Away? Cool with that?
I love Spirit.
Yeah,
I've not
fine
seen
with
it
that.
actually. I said I love Spirited Away. Started to say it. Haven't seen it. Excited for it.
Oh.
Let's do it.
Cool. I am a little bit biased in my suggestion for this because Regal is actually doing a cool Studio Ghibli thing, or at least they have been for like the past 6 months, where like once a month they're showing a Studio Ghibli film. I haven't been in Colombia for 6 months really, and the only one they're doing that I can see is Spirited Away. So I'm gonna go see this in theaters, which is really cool. Yeah.
Everyone else is on
I think
HBO Max.
For everyone else, it is on HBO Max, which is also a
Sounds
great
good.
place to watch it. You love HBO Max. Yeah, Spirited Away. We're doing another anime film. Great way to kick off the fall. You know, I feel like I can't wait. I want to get into some anime movies this fall and winter, and just maybe I'll just burn through Studio Ghibli one day.
I think that's a what's the word I'm looking for? Side effect of like having to watch a bunch of documentaries. You're like, I just need to watch anime and like
I just need anime.
something completely devoid from reality.
Yeah, right. So yeah, we'll do Spirited Away for our next review. Nathaniel, do we have a 5-star review?
We do have a 5-star review, actually. If you want to give us a 5-star review, you can do it in-app on Apple Podcasts. It does help us reach new people, and we would appreciate it. If you give us a 5-star review, you can have it read out on the podcast, and you can say anything you want. It can be nice, it can be mean, it can be funny. It could be something like Trump supporter 151515 here, who says 11 out of 10. So there you go, guys. I listen to these podcasts on my walks to class, and they are truly amazing. So that Trump supporter, he listens to us. So thank you, sir.
Thanks, man.
Shout out Trump supporter. 1225
151515. Yes.
15155.
Yeah.
Jesus.
He listens to us and Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. Wow.
Yeah. Check us out on Truth Social. We're not
Parlor.
yeah, we're not available there, but available everywhere else.
Yeah, we're not.
And you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you want to give us a 5-star review, just do it like that guy did. Anyways.
And if you want to write us an email, you can do so by, or like Brandon Wozni did. He wrote in and said, his subject line is "Come, warm yourself by the fire." I don't know.
That feels like a video game
disclosure.
reference.
Okay, maybe. Oh, it is. It is. I don't know what game. Sounds like Link.
Zelda,
Maybe.
you mean?
Zelda, yeah. He says, full disclosure, I went down a few podcast rabbit holes, and after a few BRBs built up, I just shotgunned a lot of them. First, Resident Evil was on my Vudu. I own the whole set of that and Underworld, and I'd watch any of them before ever turning on Malignant again.
Wow.
Oh, relax. Relax. I don't.
Good
Yeah,
shit,
that's
Wasp.
a
Good shit,
very,
I
that's a
might be able
very
to agree
hot
with
take.
you.
That's
The
a very-
Underworld's possibly the Resident Evils is that's a hot take. After like 4, those things are really bad.
No, I
have-
don't
Yeah,
ever
definitely
watch
not
Malignant.
all of them, but some of them
Yeah.
for sure.
having
I'm
only
with you,
seen
Waz.
only seen the third one, I would watch Resident Evil or Malignant over that any day of the week.
Yeah. The first Resident Evil's not bad though, man. I still stand on that. That's a pretty cool. That may be like 99 or 2001 or something like that. Good film.
Second, Ty, the cross-country period piece is called Aperi Ranman.
Oh yeah, I could not remember. That was the race anime that I could not remember, where they're racing across the United States.
Got it.
Gotcha. He said very
Opere
good.
Ranman.
13 episodes, 22 minutes a pop. He said third, new couch. It's power recline, no massage. Small upgrade for Back Row HQ. Keep up the good work, boys. Also, what's the mashup you want to see next out of Hollywood? Transformers X Fast and Furious, Mission Impossible X The Mummy. I'm holding out for Knives Out X John Wick. That's a good question.
The Mummy one and
crossover.
Mission Impossible already happened. It's called The Mummy. Tom Cruise is in
Sure.
it.
2017's
Yeah,
The
but it's not
Mummy.
really Mission Impossible.
If it's got Tom Cruise in it, is it not Mission Impossible?
Fair.
I don't know.
What do I want to see? Maybe I've always been holding out for a Saw the musical. I'd really like to see
Holy shit.
something like that.
Okay.
Really just take that Saw franchise into the musical world. I
Sure.
really feel like that's a crossover that we've been waiting to happen. With Book of Spiral, which came out underwhelmed. Now it's time just
Todd Sweeney was a play.
Yeah, Sweeney Todd, great movie.
Sounds like a relatively smart move.
Yeah, Saw the musical. We're working on it. It'll be the next Hamilton. Just you wait.
Man, I don't know if I have a great crossover. Fast and Furious, I think would be funny if you just put him with anything.
Fast and Furious. Now you see me.
Her, yeah,
Magic
we'll go
and
with that. That's
cars.
a good one. That's a good
Yeah.
one. Yeah. No, Fast and Furious is like you just do any franchise and it's gonna be hilarious. Just because those movies are so out of any realm of reality that like they make Star Wars and fucking Marvel look realistic. Good question. Thanks for writing in, Waz. If you want to write in like Brandon Wozni did, you can send us an email at backrowbanterpod@gmail.com with a question of your own. Any thoughts you have on the podcast, anything like that, get it read out here on pod. You can also share the podcast, share with a friend, a family member, maybe an ancient champion of your long lost town. Yeah, I don't know where else to go with that. You can follow this show on Twitter at Banter Row, on Instagram at Back Row Banter Pod, and on YouTube we're just Back Row Banter. BlakeHolder, where can the people find you at, my man?
Letterboxd, BlakeHolder. I'll be on there logging some things. Didn't get to much this week, as I kind of mentioned, but we'll see what I get to from here. Certainly will not have a review on Black Adam. Funny enough, on this, I wasn't entirely sure if this was like Black Adam, like the molecule, like ATOM, or like black, like me, and then Adam, like our friend Adam. I didn't really know until I went to see the movie, and I was like, oh, it's actually black like me, and then Adam, like our Adam. I thought it was the other way around. So Yeah, shitty movie, but that's all I got. How about Adam?
You can find me on Twitter at Aish24, on Letterboxd at Aish, and on Twitch at twitch.tv/Aish. That's AYYSH. Tyler Vidalis, you're streaming.
I do stream, yeah, sometimes, and it's fun other times. And I've been playing a lot of Overwatch most of the time. But yeah, you can find me on Twitch, Eltrabajo87, and Letterboxd,
Twitterbox.
Instagram, are all Tyler Vidalis. And Nathaniel?
Yeah, you can always find me on Letterboxd and Twitter at nsgingrich. I will be logging all the films that I have seen. I don't really rate them, but you can always check that on there as well too. And Instagram, NathanielG92, my other podcast, Sandpiper Tapes. I think that's it. Let's boot it on home, Adam.
Thank you all for listening to episode 123 of Back Row Banter. Join us next week for our review of Spirited Away. Thanks for listening, especially if you made it this far. We'll see you all next week, and we'll BRB.
Be excellent to each other. Be excellent to each other, everyone, and we will BRB.
Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate anything you can to do to help us grow because we want to grow. We enjoy doing this, and we can't do it without you. And just spread love, and we'll BRB.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for the support. We wouldn't be able to continue this podcast if it wasn't for you. That's all I got. We'll BRB.
America. Ready for another lesson.
So how many of you guys watched the Halo World Championships over the weekend? I'm assuming all of you.
Obviously.
No, it wasn't on my list, dog.
Shocking. Blake's like, nah, fam.
Dude, I've had the worst day I've had in a long ass time
shit.
today, bro.
Never mind.
You know
then.
what I mean? It's like one of those. I hate to be the Debbie Downer.
No.
My
You're
day's
fine, bro.
fucking hellhole today, bro.
Did you work at Best Buy?
I did. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Not because of that though. That was probably one of the highlights of my day.
I will say though, very intriguing World Series that we got here. Astros, Phillies.
Yes.
Yeah, so that actually makes sense. And I don't know if I was telling you guys when we recorded. I flew into Philadelphia.
Oh no shit!
And the amount of fucking Phillies jerseys and like Eagles jerseys that I saw in the airport was like they're on a sports high out there.
They're on
the Eagles being like 7-0. The Phillies, obviously, they weren't in the World Series at that time, but I guess they were on their way.
Right.
But
yeah,
talk about like a sports town, dude. They were on a fucking sports high, bro.
They're a different breed. Only city that has to grease the light poles when the teams go to the World Series or the playoffs, and townsfolk try and climb all of the light poles in the city.
Yeah, you think they got a chance to beat Houston?
Oh man, they're so hot right now. That's the problem though. Like
their offense is insane.
I mean, here's the issue. That a team that's hot can run into good pitching at any given second, and the Astros just have good pitching. Like,
so the Astros, they're just obviously they've been to like what four championships in the past 6 years, or something like that.
Yeah.
So they're the better team.
Yes. Yeah.
Without a doubt.
But Philly's the hotter team for sure.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. So they're just rolling right now.
Yeah, but then at the same time, I don't think the Astros have lost in the playoffs yet. So that's not a good sign.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The Astros, for like whatever you will say about them, the cheating scandal notwithstanding, like they're just fucking good. They're a good organization. Like,
right.
It just is.
I think that's
yeah.
To your point, where like you said, cheating or not, at this point, at this many championships and in a certain amount of years, yeah, these guys are legit.
For
Cheating
sure.
or not, they're gonna win some of these bitches.
Yeah, 100%. Like they just have a good baseball team. There's no doubt about it. And they seem to get the most out of their pitchers, which if you can do that as a baseball team, that is one of the surefire way of successes. You know, if you can maximize your pitching, you will do well.
Do you think they have the best pitcher? in general, or you think it's like depth?
It's
Just
both.
depth. Yeah, I mean, like you look at the Astros and like who's their number one? Is it Verlander still?
Verlander still, yeah.
Yeah, I mean Verlander's just a fucking stud who's been there before and is just a next level kind of athlete. I almost don't think Verlander should be more famous than he is realistically. Like
Yeah, at this point in his career, he really should be because he still has one of the lowest ERAs.
yeah, just
of
talk
any
about
pitcher in
like
the league, and
overall
he's been around
success.
for-
Married to Kate Upton, like should be
Okay.
yeah, should
Are
be
you like
way
a mega star type guy?
yeah, should be way more famous than he is, and like has been doing the damn thing for a while now, and still throws 100. Like,
Yep.
just
Yeah,
a
he's
just a
super
stud.
impressive.
Yeah, and then I mean, you got those other guys behind him, Lance McCullers, and who's their other guy that they got?
Framber.
Bramberg, yeah, and then
Framber Valdez.
yeah, that's the one, Framber Valdez, yeah, and then their offense is just consistently good. And I mean, the Phillies paid Bryce Harper a fuck ton of money, and he actually proved that to them. Actually got them to the
he earned
World
his paycheck of
Championships.
it.
Yeah,
So I always got Bryce Harper, and what's the guy who I don't even know if he's on the Nationals anymore. He used to be on the Nationals.
that is Bryce
Juan Soto.
Harper.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I always got that guy and that other guy mixed up, but I realize they're the same person now.
Yeah, so Bryce
But
Harper.
he was on the Nationals. This was some years ago.
Yeah, he started his career on the Nationals.
But okay, so I think he's just been really good since like I don't know, probably like 19 years old or something.
No, younger than that. So there was a Sports Illustrated cover when he was 16 that named him baseball's LeBron, and you can kind of draw your own comparisons out of that kind of thing. He actually withdrew from high school and got his GED to go into professional baseball a year early, because most baseball players have to complete high school first. And yeah, I mean, he was just like a stud from a young age. Was anointed as kind of like the next big thing, and then is a very, very good player. Like probably top 10 in the league,
Right.
Arguably top 5.
Pretty much
anyways.
lived up to what you would have thought.
Yeah, but not the generational, once in a lifetime talent that LeBron is, kind of thing.
I got you.
And then he was with the Nationals for several years, and then left and went to the Phillies his first year of free agency, I want to say. And that was the year the Nationals actually won the World Series, was the year he left. And he's been with the Phillies since then, and now obviously.
So how long ago was that then?
That was 2018.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was wondering. I was like, why does this guy's
2018 would have
name-
been his last season with the Nationals because they won.
Okay.
the
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah, he was the top player of my generation, because technically he is like my generation. Blake, you're talking and we can tell, but you are muted again. I don't know what happened. Now you're back.
Okay. So I think we're talking about Bryce Harper.
Mm.
So he's still got to be young though, right? He's got to be like our age.
Yeah, he's 28, 29.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll still be a stud.
juggle. Like, go ahead.
Like he could like realistically he's kind of entering his prime now.
Right.
But he's been injured a lot, so that's true too. But like, little inside baseball thing here, when Bryce Harper was drafted, my cousin was the hitting coach for the AA team of the Washington Nationals, and that was who he actually started with. And like, he got up there, and my cousin like took one look and was like, dude, I can't teach you anything. Like, just
yeah, right.
He was like,
why are you here, dude?
yeah, he's like, you have a major league level hit tool at this point. Like, nothing. I'm not gonna say anything to you. I'm not gonna change anything about your swing. Just go up and do your shit. Like, you're ready, kind of thing.
That's real though. I respect that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah, Bryce Harper's the dude, and I definitely think he can get them to.
He can easily.
So you're putting money down, fellas. Are you saying that you're confident enough in the Phillies being able to take the Astros? It sounds like the Astros are like the fucking like Warriors.
With the Phillies
basically.
beating the Padres, yes, I would say they have the momentum going right now, but they can run into good pitching at any given time, and that's just the facts about baseball. Like, no matter how hot you are, you can run into a good pitcher, and a good pitcher can shut you down. Now, that might not always happen, but it's definitely always
it's
out
plausible.
there. Yeah.
So when you're saying with the Phillies beating the Padres, is that because the Padres were like probably the best team?
I would say like spec for spec, the Padres are probably
Yeah.
the better team, but again, that's baseball. Like that's kind of what makes it magical is just a team with the right players at the right time can get hot and
Right.
make that run, you know.
Yeah.
All you got to do is make sure you're relevant for 152 games. And then,
Sure.
you know, at the end, if you can get hot, you can make it there. And I feel like that's a product over the last few years and like the more integration of the wild card. Like there was a few years there in like, what was it, 2012, 2014, 2016, where the Giants won every World Series in the even years or whatever. And it was, again, just because they got hot at the right time kind of thing.
Mm.
Hung around long enough and then just did work in the playoffs kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that's baseball.
Interesting because you have the 2019 Nationals, who were a wild card that no one really expected to win, won the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had COVID, which was Dodgers, which is kind of like asterisk.
Yeah,
on
fuck the
that
Dodgers.
World Series. Yeah, fuck the Dodgers. The fake championship. They'll always choke in the playoffs.
So is that fuck the Dodgers as in because like they actually weren't good and they just happened to win that ring?
No, they're
Or-
very good, but they pay for all their players.
It's just in general, everyone's fuck the Dodgers. That's not a Dodgers fan because they just spend so much money.
They're
The
like
Yankees.
they're
So
like
it's
the
that-
Warriors.
because it's the market, because it's the LA market.
Yeah, 100%.
essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't used to be that way. They had really shitty owners until about 2006. I think their owners went bankrupt technically, and they got bought by a consortium that was run by Magic Johnson, I want to say, or like he was like the figurehead.
Sure.
And they just
Yeah.
had fucking buku bucks, and then they just
Right.
started buying all the players that they could, and then the Dodgers have really good inroads with Central America and like kind of that hotbed of baseball.
Mm,
And so they just started drafting a bunch of amazing players as well too, and now they have a really good draft, and they have enough money to buy any player they want. So they're just in general
right.
very good. And fuck the Dodgers.
Fuck the Dodgers. But yes, and then you had, who was the team in 2021?
Braves.
Yeah, and then it was
I know Atlanta
Braves,
won.
Yeah, Atlanta.
Braves.
Yeah.
The Braves. I said it when the Braves won their NLC or their NLDS series. I forgot who against, but they beat someone that they shouldn't have beaten. I was like, they're gonna win because they gave me the same exact kind of vibes of the 2019 Nationals. Who was like, who are these guys?
Yeah,
Like,
Team
what
of
are they doing
Destiny
here?
kind
Right,
of
they're
thing.
just rolling basically.
But they just hit it hot at the right time, and
For
that's
sure.
all it takes, honestly. Like you can play. Look at the Dodgers, 111 win season, the best season the Dodgers have ever had in the entire franchise history, out in the NLCS.
Any heels?
Or
Oh
NLDS.
my god. Sorry.
That's
It's
what the
just like-
Dodgers were saying.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah,
heels?
right?
Fuck.
I need heels. But it's just like you win 111 games, you're the best team in
Yeah,
baseball.
best
A lot of people
record.
consider that by far, and then you get knocked out in a 5-game series. It's just like
yes.
it doesn't matter as long as you get to October.
But that's what makes
you
it
get to playoff
beautiful.
baseball.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's what makes it beautiful, man. As long as you get to playoffs, who knows?
Yep.
Who
As
knows?
long as you get
'Cause
there, it's the dance,
That's one
man.
of the things about baseball, man. It's not like basketball where it's just like, if one guy's slacking a little bit, someone else can pick it up. It's just like, no, you have 9 pieces to put together day in, day out. That
There's
all
a-
have to be playing well.
There's a weird thing in baseball that it just is pervasive on the better teams of this, like, we have to win because we're the better team, and all the pressure just gets put on them. And if you're the underdog, you get to take advantage of that so often because they're the
Yeah, you
ones
just-
that have to perform. They're the ones that all the pressure is on. And then
yeah,
you
if you have
just
nothing to lose, and you
oh
can go up in
yeah,
the batter's
it's the
box and just
best. Oh,
take
it's so
the
good.
biggest hacks that you want,
Yep.
or
Yep.
it's just like when you don't have the pressure on you in baseball, it's so much
Mhm.
more freeing and easier to play. Whereas
Yeah.
like if you're in your head about like, I gotta get on base here, I gotta get on base here, I gotta do this, or I gotta
Got to make
strike
this
this guy out, or
make
else
this
we're
difference.
fucked, or I
Yeah.
gotta make an out. Like, yeah, it's just like there's a lot of it's a big mental thing in baseball. I mean, all sports have a mental aspect without a doubt.
Yeah.
But baseball is one where it's just like it's very easy to just let things get to you, and that affects your performance.
Baseball's weird because it's one of those sports that's so singular, but also such a team sport at the same time. Like depending on the position, you are so accountable for how the team is doing, and like all in this kind of like you can blame one person kind of thing, but at the same time,
right.
it is still a team type deal. You know, one person can't completely make the difference on a team.
Yeah.
Right.
Bryce Harper, though, he's making that argument that he can't.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, well, at the same time, like Kyle Schwarber's got like 4 bombs in the postseason or something like
I'm just
that.
kidding. No, that entire team is going crazy.
Yeah, they're all
Their
on
offense.
They're just unconscious right now.
Yeah.
So then, to cap off the baseball combo,
Yeah, because we need to get going. On
Bryce Harper, the guy in the Asian gentleman on the Angels,
Shohei Ohtani,
and Aaron Judge. That's his name, right? Aaron
Yeah,
Judge.
yeah. Like who
On
are
the
you,
Yankees.
who are you building your team around?
Yeah. Ranked them 1 through 3.
It's hard.
Well, you're leaving out Mike Trout and you're leaving out Manny Machado, the other 2 players that should be on the.
Still, I'm taking Shohei.
What team is
Shohei
Manny
Ohtani
Machado on?
He's on the Padres.
He's on the Padres, yeah.
Yeah. So the thing about Manny Machado is like he probably would have been Bryce Harper status of like popularity and whatnot, but Bryce Harper and him were in like the same draft class. And so it's just like he was like the number 3 pick overall in that draft, but Bryce Harper was number 1. And like if you look at their career stats, they're very similar. I'm pretty sure it was the same draft.
At the same time, fuck Manny Machado. Like I don't know why.
Oh yeah,
but
then a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And then Mike Trout, I definitely know that name.
Yeah.
What team is he playing?
He plays on the
He's on the
Angels as
Angels.
well. Yeah, so he and Shohei
Oh.
Ohtani are on the same team. So the argument's been over the last few years that everyone's wasting Trout's prime basically because he entered the league at 20 and like has just been a stud ever since then. I think he's now 28, 29. And it's like
Did he used to play on Maybe I used to get him and Bryce Harper mixed up. Did he ever play on the Angels or on the Nationals?
No, he always has played on the
he's
Angels.
Always been on the Angels.
Yeah,
maybe that's who I was.
So I think
with.
they were one draft class apart from each other, and for a long time it was like, who would you rather play? Who would you rather pick? Trout or Harper, kind of thing. And up until this year, the general consensus has been Trout's been the overall better player, but like. At this point, neither of them have won a World Series, and if Harper takes his team to the series and wins, hard to argue with, you know.
Yeah, it is.
But it's a real kind of Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden kind of situation, you know, where they all kind of came up together in the same kind of era. Maybe not on the same team, but just like that class of just 100% athletes, best of their generation kind of thing.
Yeah.
And crazy shit. But anyways, let's talk movies.
Let's talk movies.